Hey guys, Jess here with Cardinal Signs. I hope that you're doing well. So today's reading, we're going to be doing your monthly decision time reading. So this is definitely one of my favorites and perhaps one of the most useful that I've ever come across. So if you're new to this kind of reading, or even if you've done it with me before, I'm just going to run through how this works and how you can use this reading to help you in the best way possible. Get the most as you can from it. So you can use this from the perspective of like comparing and contrasting two situations. So maybe it's your present situation and you're comparing it to some new opportunity that has come into your life, or perhaps you're looking at two new opportunities and you want to know which of them is best for you. So we're going to be looking at the underlying energies in the present time and looking forward into the future. And we'll also be taking a look at advice to help you make this decision with more clarity. So the point of this reading is not for me to make the decision for you, of course. It's to empower you with more information so that you can make your choice with confidence. So this is a pick a card reading. I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to show you one of the cards that is in your pile. So I'm going to have you choose intuitively one of these cards. I'm not going to tell you what it means yet, but I will show you what we've got here, and hopefully this works out for you. So we have here inner knowing, or deep knowing. Deep knowing for number 1, pile number 1. Go the distance for pile number 2. Time to go for pile number 3. And observer for pile number 4. So just take a moment. Maybe one jumped out at you right away. You can pause the video if you would like. Choose the one that feels right for you on an intuitive level. The timestamps will be posted in the description, and I'll also pin them at the top of the comments as well. So before we jump into this, remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. So I will see you in your timestamp. I'll start here with pile number 1. So welcome, pile number 1. So you chose deep knowing. What a lovely thing. This is a beautiful card. I'll let you take a look at that a little more closely here. So we will get to that and what this means for you shortly. So we're going to start off first of all by clarifying, because you have two paths or two options here. Maybe it's your present situation with a new option, or maybe it's two completely new options and you want to know which one is best for you. So you have to label path number 1 and path number 2. What does path number 1 mean for you? Is it a person? Is it a thing, a situation? And what is path number 2? So become clear with that right now. Label it for yourself. And then don't change. That's important. So, energy for path number 1, you have the 4 of Swords and you have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So, right off the bat, I'm seeing you being, I'll show you this one here, 4 of Swords. I'm seeing you being unhappy with your present situation. So I'm seeing that you want more. What you have right now, it doesn't feel like enough. It's like you have this inner knowing, deep knowing, that like there could be so much more. There's more potential out there. You feel very limited with this, perhaps. If this is your present situation, if this is a new thing, then you will feel quite limited, like you're stuck in a box almost, and there's not a lot of room for you to kind of stretch out and grow and expand. So this might be kind of like a narrow perspective, or a narrow point of reference in which you can live your life. And there's always going to be this awareness that there's so much more. And so you're always going to feel a little bit restless with this. At least right now, I see a lot of restlessness and wanting to explore what is beyond your current situation. So that is pretty significant energy coming in. Now, moving forward into the future with path number 1, you have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So there is potential with this. I will say there is potential. However, there's an obstacle that you need to overcome. So this could become more. There's an opportunity for this to grow. There's an opportunity for this to change. Perhaps it's your perspective about it that could change with time. I'm feeling like a long time. It could start to grow on you. But I think it might always feel like life is a little less colorful than you want it to be. Like, again, I get this, like, it just keeps on repeating, like, you want more. You know that there's more out there. And so you could put a lot of energy into making this work for you. And it's possible that something could come in here, some new opportunity that could shift this situation and make it feel more comfortable for you or more fulfilling for you in some way. However, the way that the energy is right now is not incredibly promising. So, moving on to option number 2, or path number 2 rather, we have the Seven of Swords in your present situation, which is politics here. So to me, this is something not being the way that it seems. So something, it could go either way. Something could kind of seem like it's imperfect and not very feasible. And yet underneath that is something that's really quite wonderful and beautiful and precious. On the other hand, something could be really shiny and new and exciting, but underneath that sort of polished exterior is just a lot of emptiness, maybe false promises, that kind of thing. So you're really going to have to feel your way through this situation. I just want to pick up because I think that there's something else that needs to come through here. Present situation, Seven of Swords. Yeah, they're just saying not as all as it seems. Not all is as it seems, rather. So sit with that and think about that. What looks too good to be true? And follow that guidance. The answer that comes to you with that. Now, moving forward into the future here, we have the Six of Swords in reverse. So this is the burden. So this is you letting something go and leaving something behind. And it's very beneficial for you. It's very healing, and I see it being a relief. It's kind of like, oh, thank gosh, I got past that. So this is kind of like a near miss situation is what I'm seeing. So it's interesting because there are quite significant obstacles coming through here for both of your two paths. So neither of these are going to be coming to you particularly easy. I am going to pull an additional card for each of these because I feel like these were relatively challenging and negative messages, and it might not still be clear to you about what the best way is for you to go about. So, but still talking about that Six of Swords with the burden. I think right now, presently, with path number 2, you don't have a very clear perspective or an outlook of where this is going to go. So there's a lot of fog and confusion about where this could actually lead you in a practical way. In the future, I am seeing that kind of fog dissipating and seeing you being pleasantly surprised, actually, is what I'm getting about where this takes you. If you choose to go now down path number 2, I see a very clear direction after all of this sort of fog is shifted away. So I'm just going to pull some clarifying cards here for path number 1. What else do we need to know about path number 1? You've got imagine in reverse. This makes so much sense with what we were talking about right now, because with that 4 of Swords, it was like, you know that there's so much more out there for you, and this feeling of being dissatisfied with what you currently have. And with this imagine, it's like your mind roaming free to discover and explore all the possibilities that there are around you. And yet you have this feeling, because we're coming up here with it in the reverse, that you can't have that. So there is some kind of blockage that you need to work through. There is this sense that you are on the outside looking in. Okay, so there's like this separation between where you are and where you wish you could be. And so you need to really turn this around and start believing that you can have what you want. Okay, so this is kind of getting into advice here, but it's important nonetheless. So turning that around, believing that you can have what you want. That's an important message for you to hold on to. I'll pull an additional card here to clarify for path number 2. What else do we need to know about path number 2? Path number 2. So you got another one in reverse here. You've got clean it up. Okay, clean it up. So there's unfinished business, is what I'm getting. There's unfinished business. If you decide to pursue path number 2, I feel like there's a lot of work to be done still, especially before you get that like clear sense of direction. A lot of work to be done. You can do it. It's just going to take some time. If you're not pursuing path number 2, and you're going to go with path number 1, if that feels like what you should be doing, I get the sense that there are things that you need to do, kind of like loose ends, tying up loose ends and that kind of thing, so that you don't leave someone or something hanging or in limbo. So unfinished work, unfinished projects, some sort of connection that needs tying up. Okay, so something to consider there. Now we're going to move on to advice. So this is to help you in making the decision, like how should you choose? Now you chose deep knowing, so this is part of your advice. So you already know. You already know deep inside of you which of these is the best choice for you. All right. You chose deep knowing for a reason, right? You just have to kind of like uncover that. It may be, with this cleaning up card, it may be covered in cobwebs. Maybe this is something that you know that you've wanted for a long time. And again, it's like something that you haven't believed that you can have. And so you have to like dust that off and polish it up and look at it and say, I can have this. I can have exactly what I want in my life. I can have more than what I currently have, because that's kind of the underlying message, the need for you to invite more into your life, to ask more of life. Now you also have the Knight of Cups in reverse. This is understanding. And you have the 10 of Swords in reverse. Okay, so this is really lovely. So let me sit with this for a second, because there's freedom to be had here. There's this sense of something that was really old and stale and kind of depressing, actually, or sad at any rate. And it was like suppressing your spirit, making you feel very dull. So you're shaking that off. You're going to seek your freedom. The thing that feels the most free and spacious. That's the advice. So go in the direction that, like, your spirit feels really light and happy and excited. So sit with your emotions with this. Think, okay, if I go down path 1, how do I feel about that? And then just check in on your emotions. Okay, now if I go down path 2, how do I feel about that? And again, sit with your emotions. Which one feels more freeing, more expansive, more exciting? And which one of these paths is going to allow you to reinvent yourself? Because I'm seeing that more than anything, that you really want to expand and reinvent yourself. So something that was old and no longer serving you, you're letting those parts of yourself go, and you're allowing new wonderful things to come in to your personal energy space. So this is lovely. And a deep knowing. Like I said, you already know. It's already inside of you. The best path for you, it's the path that feels really good. Okay? So I hope that these messages were helpful for you. Option number 1, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if this resonated with you, and I would love to hear which of these 2 paths you're going to be choosing. So take care of yourself, and I will see you again next time. All right. So we're going to move along to option number 2. All right, welcome option number 2. So you chose going the distance. Now, this is your card, one of your cards of advice on how to make this choice with more confidence. So before I start to flip over the cards, I want you to become clear about what your 2 options are, because we're going to be looking at path number 1 and path number 2. So who or what is represented by path number 1, and who or what is being represented by path number 2. Okay, so take a moment and just clarify that for yourself. Okay, so the energy of path number 1, we have the Knight of Wands and we have the Wheel of Fortune. I'm just going to flip everything else over, but we'll get to that. Okay, so present situation with path number 1. Really lovely stuff here. Knight of Wands. So this is a very happy, light-hearted energy. This feels really good. I'm getting the sense that you feel invincible, perhaps. Like nothing can dampen your spirit, like nothing can take your happiness away, and it's really, really lovely. So this is a spring in your step and a twinkle in your eye. This is a lovely place to be. However, I am seeing into the future a change, and I'm going to pull a clarifying card here about what that change is. This could be more lovely, wonderful things coming in for you, or this could be Wheel of Fortune. It goes up and it goes down, so we'll see. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not good. Clarifying card for path number 1, where this is heading. Ooh, you got not for you, but it's in reverse. I'm going to have to sit with that, because that's a mixed message right there. It's in reverse. Oh, I feel like this is so unknowable is basically what they're saying, because the Wheel of Fortune has a certain unpredictability about it, right? The Wheel of Fortune is ruled by fate, and you have free will, of course, and if there are any people involved in your situation, they have their free will as well. So you might be feeling really awesome about whatever the situation is. What are other people feeling about this? And that can change. It can change on a dime. Day to day, you might go from feeling really wonderful, and then this Wheel of Fortune comes in and shifts things. And suddenly, what you wanted isn't what you want anymore. Oh, this is not clarifying things at all. Let me just tune in intuitively and see. What is this? More information on this for path number 1. Okay, yeah. A shift, a change, and your world turning upside down. Okay, so things are going to change big time. I'm almost feeling like tower energy coming in here with path number 1. The tower is not always bad, okay? The tower is something that is necessary in order for you to grow in the direction that you need to. The tower comes in and takes things away or shakes things up so that new things can come and grow in their place. So I am seeing a tower moment in your future here if you decide to go down path number 1. For some of you, if you decide to go with path number 1, what I do want to say with this, are you okay with this being temporary? Because that's what I'm getting from this. I see it being amazing while it lasts, but I don't see it lasting for a particularly long time. So are you willing to enjoy this to the fullest, squeeze every last ounce of joy from whatever this situation is, knowing full well that it's probably not going to stay that way forever? Okay? Something for you to think about. Now with path number 2, we have the Hermit in reverse as the current situation. Very opposite energy. This is like night and day. So this is like a deep searching. There's a sense of searching. You may be searching for completeness. You may be searching for, like the yin to your yang, or vice versa. There is a sense of a journey taking place here with path number 2. And this is a journey that is going to be relatively demanding, and I see it being a bit lonely, to be honest. Something that you're going to be undertaking on your own. Not that you don't have support. I want to be very clear about that, because in the future you have guidance. Now it is coming up in the reverse. What I'm getting from that is that this isn't so much guidance from like flesh and blood people. This is more so guidance from the spirit realm. So angels, spirit guides, ancestors, that kind of thing. So helping you forward, moving you in the right direction. So if you decide to pursue path number 2, what I'm getting is that there is a lot to explore, a lot to be discovered. It's like there's this really vast expansiveness. And so there are so many different potentials in front of you is what I'm seeing. It's maybe going to be a little bit overwhelming. And maybe that's why it's taking so long for you to get through it, because I'm seeing a sense of a long time or a long journey. And because there are so many different things that you need to explore before you find like the right fit is what I'm seeing. But all the while you're trying, does this fit me? Does that fit me? I'm seeing you being guided by your spiritual guidance team. So it'll be very important for you to check in with them however it is that you do it, whether it's through prayer, meditation, dream work, whatever works for you. So Very different energies. Again, I am going to pull a clarifying card here. So what else do we need to know about path number 2? More information for path number 2, please. Oh, beautiful. I'm talking about you being alone here, and we got community. Now it is in the reverse. So maybe you're not as alone as you think. Maybe this is a matter of perspective. Maybe you have chosen to kind of isolate yourself from other people and kind of strike off on a path like the less traveled path is what I'm trying to say here. And so it does have this sense of being a little bit of a lonelier journey, feeling perhaps less supported by people. However, always remember that you have the choice to reach out and ask for the more support from your community, from your friends and your families, your co-workers. That support is always there. So just keep in mind that it's always a choice. If you feel that you're doing great on your own, doing your own thing, and you don't need that kind of support system, wonderful. But I want you to know that they're always there and they're willing to help you. So both in the spiritual realm and in the physical realm, you have so much support and people who want to help you and guide you and give you a leg up or point you in the right direction. Now we're going to move on to your advice. So you chose go the distance. So yeah, do you have the energy, the stamina, the drive, motivation to see yourself through to the end of whichever path that you want to choose? Both of them, I feel, are going to be quite intense. Now we have this sense of things happening quickly and shifting quickly. I feel like this is more focused with path number 1, but you may find that that happens with path number 2 as well for some of you. There is a sense of like needing to really dig deep as you travel down the path that you choose. The need to dig deep and push yourself further than you thought that you could. So it's like being your own personal cheerleader. Again, path number 2, don't forget, you do have a lot of support. It's just you need to ask for it. Okay, so don't forget to ask if you need it. But there's a huge sense of accomplishment. Either of these paths, whichever one you choose, you're going to feel that you have accomplished so much and that you've come so far. Remember that you can't really choose wrong. This is going to be different for everybody. One of these may have sounded amazing to you and the other one terrible, and another person watching this might feel completely the opposite. So more advice here. Yes, we have a recurring message. The need to ask for help and connect to your social support system. Again, I get this sense that you're kind of like off doing your own thing. With path number 1, you're kind of like just like happy-go-lucky, a little bit oblivious maybe, kind of just like absorbed in your own bliss, and perhaps to the exclusion of people, friends, family members around you. And path number 2, this is you kind of like deliberately isolating yourself. Again, not a bad thing. You're just being reminded that support is around you if you need it. And you may need it. I feel that maintaining your social connections is going to be very important and is going to allow you to like refresh yourself. Kind of give you that extra little bit of like nourishment that you need to keep going. Now, last piece of advice, you have strength. These cards go really well together. You've got a cheetah here, kind of lunging for the finish line, and then you've got strength over here. So in the strength card, I'm seeing the ability, your ability to flourish under any kind of condition. So If it's sunny, you'll do well. If it's rainy, you'll do well. It's like, it's all good. You can do this. You have so much power. Like I said, you have so much support, but even though you have so much support, you can do this on your own too. I see that. You have so much personal strength. And with this Courage card, I am picking up on a deep, like, personal drive and motivation to succeed, and to point yourself in the direction that you feel you need to take. So this, I'm feeling as ultimate advice is that you're going to be compelled to choose one of these. I feel like one of these paths is almost going to choose you rather than you choose it, because there's this sense of you being compelled to pursue either path 1 or path 2. So this may have been a little bit more confusing than I intended. I hope that some of these messages stuck out at you and resonated. Please let me know if they did, and I would love to know which of these 2 paths are you planning on taking. Let me know in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. Good luck making your decision, and I will see you again next time. Alrighty, so we're going to move along to number 3. All right, option number 3, welcome. So you chose time to go. Now, time to go is actually one of your pieces of advice for making your choice. So we will get to that. First, what I would like you to do is assign one of your options to be represented by path number 1. So who or what is path number 1 for you, and who or what is path number 2 for you. So become clear about that before I start flipping over. All right. So for path number 1, present energy, we have the 8 of Cups in reverse, which is letting go. So some of you may have already let something go, actually, or are currently in the process of letting it go. And I see it being a struggle, or it was a struggle. For some of you, this has already happened, but we are talking about the present. So maybe the struggle continues. This is the kind of letting go that lingers. So what is it that you're letting go? Because there's a sense of unfinished business. There's a sense of energy or energetic ties that are still clinging to you. I get the feeling that this hasn't been a clean break. If this is a person, maybe there's still communication when there shouldn't be communication. Maybe there are still lingering feelings when there shouldn't be. And you need to do some work to let that go so that you're able to move forward without any baggage holding you back or like keeping you stuck in place, is what I'm getting from path number 1. For some of you, there is a lingering sadness associated with this option. So what do you need to let go? If you haven't already let go of something, there is something that you need to let go in order to proceed forward. If you decide to go down path number 1, what doesn't have a place in your life anymore? I will pull a clarifying card in a moment. But moving forward into the future, the energy of path number 1, so where this can take you, we have breakthrough. This is big, beautiful energy. In traditional tarot, this is the Justice card, but I read it very differently in the Osho Zen Tarot here. So this is you getting exactly what we were talking about. It is like this sense of complete break or removal from a situation or a person that is no longer serving you and no longer has a place in your life. You are not being held back or tied down by whatever this is anymore. in the future. So you have successfully transcended this obstacle. There's a sense of an immense amount of pride and like completion coming through with path number 1 in the future. There's this sense of like, oh, I did it. I don't have to deal with that anymore. It's like done. I'm done. That's the energy that's coming through here. I'm seeing you with this path. It's interesting because there's more with this path. It's like once you push through that, it's like you're ready to take on something new. So you'll be at a new juncture where you're like, should I do this? Should I do that? So I guess I'll have to check back in whenever that is, and see where to go from there. But there is definitely a sense of accomplishment and completion coming through here with path number 2. It's really lovely. So I'm going to pull a clarifying card here. What else do we need to know about path number 1? Oh, I guess we need to know 2 things. So we have time for a nap, and we have by the book in reverse. Okay. So this is talking about in the future, time for a nap. I love these cards. They're so beautiful. This is a lot of work, path number 1. This is going to take a lot out of you. And it's not that you're feeling like drained or out of energy. I still see you having a lot of energy, but the advice that's coming through anyway is to honor the amount of work that you've done and to allow yourself to just pause for a little bit, okay? So rather than jumping right into the next thing, it's like you need to honor the process that you went through with a pause. It's like this silent acknowledgement of what you've accomplished, what you've been through, and it's like a reverence, okay? Reverence for what has happened, and this will allow you to move forward into the new energy with more, I'm hearing distinction. It's not really distinction, is it? Yeah, I guess it is. It's like, it's a distinct break, right? So there was past, and then there's this pause. It's like a line in the sand, and then you have the future. So yeah, it is distinction. Thank you. And then we have by the book, but in reverse. In reverse. So you need to, because this pairs really well with breakthrough, you need to break some rules, is what they're saying. You need to be prepared and willing to do things in an unconventional way, or in a way that might raise some eyebrows. So get ready for that. This may take some creativity on your part, but a willingness to do things in an unconventional, unorthodox way, not following what other people have done before you necessarily, kind of like forging your own path, and following your own advice, not necessarily the advice from people around you. I get the sense that you're not doing what other people would necessarily have done were they in your shoes. And that's what I'm seeing here. And it's also advice, being willing to basically kind of throw the rule book out the window for path number 1. So moving on now for path number 2. Present moment, we have nothingness. This is the Hierophant in traditional tarot. And it's reversed. For some of you, you're getting absolutely no feedback about this option right now. So you may be considering this option. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about pursuing it. However, it might seem hopeless right now. It might seem like this could never happen. Nothing could ever come of this. I'm going to throw out an example. I'm not saying that this is what it is, but for example, let's say you are in love with somebody, and that somebody is married or in a very serious relationship. but you love them. And so there's like no way in heck that you can be with that person. Like there's nothing there. There's no potential. There's no positive feedback coming towards you. This can also be, I'm getting lack of communication or no communication blockages coming through here. So let's take a look at what's coming in through the future, because things change, right? The future is unknown at this time. We can try to get a feel of it. We can try to pin it down, but it will constantly shift and change. Your decisions change the future. Other people's decisions change the future. So nothing is set in stone. So currently, what we're seeing in the future is the Five of Wands. In the Five of Wands, what I'm seeing is a shift. I'm seeing something that belonged here moving over there. So this could be something that wasn't yours or couldn't be yours actually becoming available and shifting into your life. Potentially, I'm going to pull a clarifying card for that. It's a delicate situation is what I'm getting. Like it's very touch and go, very precarious. The timing is going to be challenging. So there's a sense of, if the timing can be just right, then maybe this will work. It's really going to come down to timing is what I'm getting. And timing is largely out of your control. So if you want to pursue path number 2, strong message is that you have to be okay with having like zero control of the outcome. Basically, you have to just kind of put it into the hands of fate and allow fate to decide, basically, because there is such a delicate balance of timing going on here. Timing and availability are intertwined here. So additional guidance for path number 2. What else do we need to know about path number 2? What else do we need to know about path number 2? Breathe. You've got breathe. Yeah. So there is the sense of you can't really do anything about this right now. I'm getting that so strongly. There's nothing for you to do right now. And you just have to wait. And maybe your window of opportunity will open up and you'll be able to take that jump, take that leap. But for now, it's like you just have to sit and wait. Just breathe, just allow, send out the good vibes, send out the intentions into the universe for what you want. And if it's meant to be, because I do believe in a degree of fate, I do believe in free will, of course, but I do also believe in it. There are some things that are meant to be and will be if we're open to opportunity and open to allowing them to flow into our life at the perfect time. So yeah, the advice for you here for path number 2 is to just kind of chill out and breathe and allow and keep that space. Basically, it's like keeping that space for this thing or this person to walk into your life, so that you can welcome them in if and when fate allows them to. That's what I'm getting, this strong sense of fate. Okay, so now we have further advice. Now you chose time to go. And you chose that for a reason. It's interesting because your first message here for path number 1 is letting go. Okay, and we talked in detail about the need for you to move on from something. So something is not serving you anymore. And we talked about this, the energy that is still kind of has its hold on you, that there hasn't been a clean break. and that you may struggle to achieve a clean break, but you have to acknowledge to yourself that whatever this is, it's no longer serving you. And this is just like a double confirmation that you need to let something go. Remember, for those of you that are going to still pursue path number 1, some of you, this is like, don't do this. I can't tell you that. But for some of you who are going to continue to pursue path number 1, you can do so, but something needs to change and something needs to be dropped and let go of so that you're able to move forward with a lot more like confidence is what I'm getting. More confidence and like personal power. Now, additional cards of advice. We have healing in reverse. This is the King of Wands. Or sorry, not Wands. You do have the King of Wands down here as well. Upright. The healing card is the King of Cups in reverse. So kings, 2 kings, wands and cups. Okay. So I'm seeing 2 things. It's like oil and water, right? Fire and ice. 2 things that are polar opposites. So this is like yin and yang, anything that's super opposite in this universe. I think that they're coming together is what I'm seeing. How can you pull 2 things that are so opposite together and hold them together? That's a question for some of you, but there's more here. So let me see. I think there's a more conventional message here. For most of you, this is telling you to rule, allow your heart to rule this decision and your gut. So it's like getting out of your head, not allowing your mind to overthink this too much. Again, we have breathe here. This is like centering and focusing and allowing your mind to settle, because it may be going a little bit haywire, wondering about the future, projecting into the future, wondering if things are going to line up. Will this thing be there for me? Will they be there for me? Whatever it may be. And so this is you having to get out of your mind and kind of like run with your heart energy and your gut energy. And it's a leap of faith, really, is what it is. So this might not make sense necessarily in a logical fashion, but you need to follow your heart. If there's one piece of advice here, it's follow your heart. I say that a lot, and it's important. I think so many of us, we get so caught up in our minds and in the stories that our minds tell ourselves. And so we have a lot of different advice coming in here, like with the by the book in reverse. It's like the need for you to do things differently than you used to be doing them. Okay, so what you were doing before, it's not working. So you have to like throw that out the window and come up with a new way of doing things. With breathe, it's like allowing or creating space for new things to flow into your life. And I'm also getting the sense of like a placeholder. So it's like keeping space or a place for something or someone for when they are able to come into your life. And then letting something go, of course. So hopefully these messages were helpful for you. Option number 3. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear in the comments which of these 2 paths you are planning on choosing. And what's going on here for you, because it looks so interesting, really. I'll be honest, this was kind of a hard read. Your advice was a little bit elusive. It was like I was dancing all around it and I couldn't quite pin it down. There was a lot of things coming through. So as I said, I hope that it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you the best of luck in making your decision. Take care of yourself, and I will see you again soon. All right, so welcome, option number 4. So you chose observer. Now, observer is one of your pieces of advice, and we'll get to that shortly. To begin, I'd like you to clarify what your 2 options are here, first of all, and then which of your options is going to be represented by path number 1, and which of your options is going to be represented by path number 2. Okay, so we've got 2 paths. We're looking at 2 sets of energy. So what are each of those for you? Who or what are each of those for you? So with path number 1, we have the moon in reverse as your present energy. In Osho Zen Tarot, which is the deck that I'm using, one of my favorites, it's shown as past lives. I'll turn that around so you can see past lives. So for some of you, this is some sort of karmic or soulmate connection that you may be having or feeling at this time. And you're moving through it. It's like you're putting, I'm getting the sense that you're putting some sort of karma to rest. So you've accomplished or closed the loop of that karmic lesson or cycle that you've been in. Okay, so that's closing or has already been closed because it's in the reverse. It may have already happened for you. Now, what else is coming in here? There's a transition happening. There's a transition. So it's like you're, and of course this makes sense because of the kind of reading that we're doing, but it's like you're standing on a threshold in a doorway. And so you're very aware of time right now. You're very aware of what happened in the past. And you're hearing or feeling or sensing like these echoes of what's coming in the future. Okay, so it's like you may be having a lot of intuitive impressions coming into you at this time. Many of you may be having dreams. And having experiences in your dreams that reflect, in a weird way, what you've already experienced in your life. Or maybe it was a past life kind of experience. This is the past life card. So things from the past, maybe the past in this life, maybe the past in other lives, that have been kind of tied up and completed. And so, like I said, it's like you're standing on this threshold. And what I'm getting is, of course, again, we're doing a decision time reading, but what I'm seeing is it's like you're free now, and you're free to make the choice. It's entirely up to you. It's like you don't have to answer to anyone anymore because you've finished this karma. And so it's like that's done. And I see some of you not sure what to do with yourselves now because you're so used to having to always answer to this kind of like past commitment or something like that, something that always had you kind of pinned in the past and didn't allow you to fully expand into the future. But now that's changed, and now you're able to fully expand into the future. This is getting super, super spiritual, but it's like you don't know what to do with this energy, and I see you like holding it, and you're like, oh, okay, so I'm free now. I can actually choose. I can choose to do this, or I can choose to do that. And so take a moment and savor this, because this is beautiful. You have accomplished something, and it is like definitely a moment worth recognizing and acknowledging. Okay. Moving forward into the future, once you, if you choose to step past this threshold in path number 1, you have the 5 of Swords, comparison. And so you are going to be struck by how different your life is. Your life has shifted radically if you choose this path. I think no matter what we were just talking about is still going to, regardless of whether you choose path number 1 or path number 2, what we just spoke about is going to be relevant for you. But I'm seeing more so with path number 1, you being struck by how different your life has become. It's like extreme. It's like night and day, and it's so fresh. It's so freeing. I see it being very flexible. I'm getting like a tenderness. There's more tenderness coming through here. And it's just so like vibrant compared to what was, which was very rigid and very like brittle, really brittle and old. So yeah, huge difference. I am going to pull a clarifying card so we can get some more information for path number 1. What else do we need to know about path number 1? What else do we need to know? I'm hearing that you will know when the time is right. You will know when the time is right. All right, so we've got 2 cards here that want to come out. Additional information. Wow, okay. So you got orphaned. And you have higher power. Okay. So perhaps some of you have worked through feelings of abandonment, of being alone or forsaken. And you've moved through that. And you've been liberated from that. Again, there's this huge sense of contrast because we have a very like low vibrational energy, which is a very like victim mentality energy in the past, where you felt very disempowered, where you felt like you didn't have any control over your life and your reality. And now you've moved beyond that. You've recognized that you do have power and you do have control, and you've been able to kind of pull yourself up and stand up tall and claim your own like sovereignty in your life is what I'm getting. And so you're like stepping into your higher power, and this sense of your divine connection with spirit is coming through here in a big way. This has opened your eyes. This karmic connection that's going on here, it has really opened your eyes. And I'm seeing so much mirroring in this card. And it's like, this has gone on for so long. For some of you, this has like been with you for eons, like life after life after life, and it's like just carried on every single time, and you've struggled to overcome this, and finally you have broken free of this victim mentality. That's what I'm getting, and it's so powerful. And now it's like you've stepped into this immense sense of self-awareness and self-empowerment, and you can do anything you want now. You've liberated yourself. You're free. You are free to go. All right. That was a long spiel. So moving on to path number 2. Path number 2, you have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is flowering. Beautiful. With this path, presently, you feel a lot of feel very comfortable with this path. There's a lot of peace here, and I get the sense that you feel that you belong. There's a sense of deep belonging. There is a familiarity, like there's a resonance, like, hey, this is vibrating on the same frequency as me, whether it's a situation or it's a person. There's a resonance here. Okay, so this is really calling to you because of that. There's not really a lot more to say about that. It's lovely at the present time, this energy. So moving forward into the future, I'm seeing you with the Queen of Swords. I don't like this card. I'm the Queen of Swords. And this is an ugly card. It's like, that's okay. I still like this deck. It's a great deck. So, in the future, Queen of Swords. This Queen of Swords energy is very, it's a bit repressed, to be honest. It's things not being the way that you thought that they were. But that's the key. It's the way that you thought, okay? And the way that you're going to be thinking. That's actually the cage, okay? So the situation isn't the cage. It's your perspective and the way that you're thinking about it that has you feeling limited. So if you choose path number 2, it's beautiful. Right now, certainly, it's beautiful. It feels really, really good. But for some reason, down the road, in the future, you're going to start feeling more and more restricted. More and more like you don't have the freedom to move around the way that you need to. And it's going to make you feel deeply unhappy with the choice that you made. But the important thing, like I said, is that it's your thoughts, and you are in charge of your thoughts, and you can change your thoughts. Okay? The future is not set in stone. This is just the way that it's showing up right now, but you can certainly change that. It doesn't have to be that way. I want you to know that. You may need to fan out in a new direction in the future in order to continue to have the good vibes and that resonance that you have currently. They need to fan out in a new direction as well with whatever the situation is. So additional information for path number 2, you have building blocks in reverse. So you may not have all the resources or materials that you need in order to pursue path number 2 right now. So for those of you who feel deeply called to pursue path number 2 because of this sort of resonance that you're feeling, like it's vibrating at the same frequency as you are, you may, maybe that's why you're feeling really restricted in the future. That will be the clarifying here, because I'm confused why you're feeling this way or thinking this way. There is some sort of resource that you don't have that you need. So you'll need to pursue that. And I see you having to be very creative in how you're going to source that resource. Okay, so this is the need to think outside of the box. The need to tap into a resource. Well done. The need to tap into a resource that is seldom used is what I'm getting. Tap into a resource that is seldom used. So this could be your own personal resources, because when we talk about resources, that's a very broad word. This could be intelligent resources. These can be physical resources. These can be people resources. It's going to be different for everybody. So tap into a resource that is seldomly used, and that's going to help you fan out into a new direction where there's more prosperity or potential with whatever this path number 2 is. All right, so we're going to move now into advice. Advice on how to make this decision more clearly. All right, so we already know that you chose observer. So there is the sense that you need to really take like a step back, take stock, and gain perspective. So if you feel that you're too close to a situation to really make an objective decision, you need to take a step back and kind of remove yourself from the emotion of it. It's funny because oftentimes I find myself guiding people to forget about their mind and follow their heart, but you're kind of having the opposite, where you need to kind of distance yourself emotionally from this decision and look at it far more objectively. And that's hard. That's definitely a challenge. Now you also have the Nine of Pentacles, which is telling me that you need to make this choice on your own. You need to not look to other people necessarily, specifically like people close to you who aren't objective either. So getting a reading like this is helpful because it's very objective. I don't know you. I don't know your situation. I have no emotional attachment to what you're doing other than hoping that you're doing well, of course, and wishing well for you. But don't place your faith or the weight of your decision on other people who are too close to you, because they're also emotionally invested in this. Okay, so keep it close to the chest is what I'm getting at here. Keep it close to the chest. You have the Four of Pentacles, which basically says that exactly. She's pulling everything in close to her chest, holding it close. So there's a little bit of secretiveness. Basically, you need to keep things on the down low while you're making this decision. Don't really like broadcast it that you're going to be doing this sort of sweeping change in your life necessarily, or let on that you're changing direction. So keep it to yourself and work on becoming more objective about this. Okay, so it's of course wonderful to acknowledge how you're feeling, and sometimes it's what needs to happen, but right now for you, pile number 4, with the observer, I'm seeing the need to really pull back, get some perspective, clear your head, let the emotions settle and become objective. Okay, so I hope that these messages were helpful. I would love to hear what resonated for you and which path do you plan on choosing. Let me know in the comments below. So take care of yourself, and I will see you again soon.